Okay, we've moved a bit further along Wellhead Stream. We're currently coming up to a mill. This is just past Leighton House and the grounds. This was, in its final days, Bolton Brothers glove manufacturers. Now, it's known at the moment as Beck's Mill, but when we go back into the past, it was also known as Bull's Mill, B-U-L-L, and it's also mentioned as Ball's Mill, B-A-L-L. So we'll have a look around here. Obviously I'll be doing some voiceovers, I can't remember all the information about it. These mills changed hands so many times. It's they started off as corn mills, then they turned to other mills doing other things, and then eventually they ended up as a glove factory, and and finished its days as that. There's only one building left. I'll try and get the drone up. It's actually pretty good weather for the drone, and then compare it to an old aerial photograph that I found, and you'll see the total difference in the area. But let's have a look around now.
Ball's Mill was initially built as a corn mill and was built around 1838. It had 5 stories, each 64 foot by 22 foot, and was water powered with a good supply from its own extensive pond. In 1846 it was put up for sale as a grist mill.
So that's the area of the mill. Now if I look behind me, I just spin round. Now there was a white building that ran along here. Now this is the building I was on about earlier, and I think it must have been the shop for the glove factory. There's obviously nothing left now. I think the road would have come in here somewhere, and the white building would have been along here, in these trees. There's obviously some old rubble left. That looks like metal, to be honest with you. No idea what that is. Looks like a metal cover. It's obviously buried in the ground. Secret bunker.
In 1905 it was owned by Bolton Brothers, a glove manufacturer, and it was used for this purpose until it was demolished in 1969. It was a brick building with 4 stories and 7 bays. The central 3 bays were crowned by a prominent pediment with a circular opening. All that is left of the mill today is the building we can see with the Bolton, part of the Bolton Brothers logo on the side. Now the building to our right at the moment, the newest building, that was where the main mill building was, which is totally gone. We can obviously see that the mill pond is still left, and when we get to the end here along the footpath, that is where the sluice gate was for obviously powering the water wheel.
Right, those 2 houses we're looking at now, that is the site of Westbury School. Obviously been built on now, but yeah, that was the site of it. There was also buildings for the mill. That's the mill just there. There was also buildings all around here.
In 1573, William Whittaker owned a mansion house with a large square court and a large fulling mill with a loft which drew water from a nearby spring head. The next recording of this mill is not until 1753, when it had become part of the Manor of Lee and Ludbourne. A barn was used as an outhouse for making cloth. The land on which it stood also contained racks. These racks were known as Bitham racks. A factory was built on the site in 1803 and was used for scribbling, carding and spinning. In 1829 the factory was extended and a steam engine of nearly 70 horsepower was installed. In 1849 it was offered for sale and was said to be in full work. The engine was the best in the country, installed to work at 60 horsepower. It easily worked at 80 horsepower, with some 12 to 15 horsepower being supplemented by the water wheel. This, allowing 16 pairs of stocks, were used to make 100 kerseymere a week. In 1856 it was sold to Abraham Laverton, who was already running Angel Mill. The deed for sale mentions machinery, including mules, power looms, a scribbling machine with condenser. The factory was run together with Angel Mill until 1969. The beam engine of 1829 drove the factory until 1939. The original cylinder was 42 inches by 7 inches and made 17 strokes a minute. In 1858 a 40-inch cylinder was added and the stroke lengthened from 7 to 8 feet. The engine then made 28 strokes a minute. The flywheel weighed 30 tons.
Okay, now we're at the site of Angel Mill. It's now housing. This was a big mill in Westbury, same as Bitham. We're sort of the north side of the town now. So it's built there, 1868.
Angel Mill, built in 1806, was the first in the area to be purpose-built for steam power. The industry was booming and many prominent clothiers made their fortunes during this period. The boom only lasted until 1820. After this, very few new factories were built. Some fell out of use entirely, while others were converted to grinding corn. In 1826, William Cobbett, a farmer and journalist, visited Westbury and remarked that it has cloth factories in it and they seem ready to tumble down, as well as many of the houses. Trade improved during 1843 but slipped again during a national depression in 1847 to 1848. In 1850, during this time of economic uncertainty, Abraham Laverton took a lease on Angel Mill. He converted it back to a woolen mill, introduced new machinery and produced fine quality cloths. The risk paid off, and in 1852 Abraham was able to purchase Angel Mill for just £1,000. Abraham's father, William, ensured his children went to school as often as possible. Although Abraham never had any children himself, it appears he too saw the importance of education. The Laverton Institute provided a non-sectarian schoolroom. It did not involve religion or politics, which was unusual at the time. The schoolroom was such a success that Abraham went to build a school, which opened in 1885. When Abraham died, he passed his estate to his nephew, William Henry Laverton. Abraham appears to have passed on his philanthropic nature, for in 1888, just 2 years after Abraham died, William Laverton gifted the town of Westbury a public bathhouse. The bathhouse featured individual baths for washing and a large swimming pool. The same swimming pool is used today and is one of England's last remaining Victorian pools. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you again soon.